In this video, we're going to show you the different types of offensive line protections that you may see on Sunday to help your quarterback stay upright. There's two things I want to cover before we actually get into the protections, and that's slide versus man. So, what do we mean slide versus man? Typically, we're going to see is the offensive line slide one way, and that means that everyone's protecting that slide side gap. So, if I'm sliding to the left, the center is going to protect the left gap, the guard is going to protect his left gap, and then the tackle is going to protect his left gap. If we're talking man protection, the tackle is simply taking a man. So right now he would take the defensive end in this particular situation, and the guard would take this tackle in this situation. We're going to be talking about sliding, full sliding, half sliding, and then also man protection. So it's good you understand those concepts of where they're protecting based on the slide and what we're trying to do. The first protection is a full slide line protection. What does that mean? It means everybody is sliding one way. So if we're going to full slide to the right side here, everyone is protecting their right side gap. There should be no penetration as they're sliding to the right side gap. And then the running back is going to step up and take the first person that's off the edge to that side. So for an offensive perspective, this is good to run against any stunts or any twists or anything that's coming from right to left because everyone's protecting their gap and they're forcing the offense to run something around the running back, which in this case often will give the quarterback a nice clean pocket. It does have the weaknesses though, where if teams will bring double edge pressure, it puts pressure on this running back to decide who I'm going to pick. And then the quarterback has to get the ball out to its hot pretty quick if they do overload that left side. So that's a full slide protection. Again, just everybody sliding one way, whether it be to the right or to the left. Running back's going to pick up the outside defensive end. And just one last note on the full slide protection. This protection is great, but if your running back isn't a big blocker, you think of a lot of NFL teams will have third down backs they'll put in. Well, you don't want your third down back going up against a Max Crosby on the outside here. So if you have someone like a Derrick Henry that can block or a bigger bodied running back, this is pretty good. But if you don't, your running back's 5'10 to 5'11, this protection isn't great. So a lot of times teams will try to mask the full slide by doing different things. So that's one of the disadvantages about the full slide that a lot of teams will have in their playbook. They may or may not run it. It's all based on their personnel. The next protection is what's called the slide lock protection. So we just talked about how we don't want to get our running back on a defensive end. So how do we fix that? What we do is we have a full slide that's happening, but then we tell our backside tackle you are locking on that defensive end. So slide lock protection. So let's say we're going to slide everybody to the right. So we're going to slide, we're going to get a slide, slide. Everyone's protecting their right side gap. And now we're going to lock this defensive end with this tackle here. And then the running back can step up here and take any blitzing linebacker. So you see, this is a more favorable matchup for our offensive line because we're getting everybody sliding to protect that gap. We don't have to worry about a running back on a defensive end. And that running back can step up and meet a linebacker if we do get any blitzes or any stunts or anything like that. It's more of a safer protection that teams can use. Again, if you do want to overload this side, you do force the running back to make a decision about who you want to pick up. Do you want to pick up the interior or the exterior blitz? Quarterback's got to know when to throw hot as well. But this is a very common NFL protection that teams will run is what's called slide, and then we're going to lock the backside. The next protection is the half line protection. And it's exactly what it says in the name. So we're going to half slide one way, and then we're going to play man the other way. So let's say we're sliding to the left side here. Everyone's going to protect their left side gap. Same with the guard, protect the left side gap. Tackle's going to block on to the defensive end here. So essentially what you're looking at is you're looking at these three players have these three players. So the center, the guard and tackle is going to take the nose, the Sam, and the end. And then same concept over here is we need to go 6 for 6 in this blocking scheme. If the defense brings 7 for whatever reason, we have to be able to throw hot and get rid of the ball hot. Because if they're bringing 7, that means they only have 4 to cover our hopefully 5. But if not 4 against 4, we got to be able to win somewhere. But ideally, this is what it's looking for. So we're looking for left side is going to slide and take 1, 2, 3. The right side is going to take, again, man is going to be this defensive end. Man is going to be this tackle. And then the running back is going to check for this linebacker right here. He's going to step up and insert and take him if he blitzes. So again, we're looking for just splitting it right down in half here. Where's the slide going to? Where's the man side going to? And then the running back's going to replace for that linebacker. If the linebacker doesn't show or doesn't blitz, then you can usually do what's called a check release, where he'll check for blitzes. If not, he'll then release out into the flat, into an option route here to get the football. But that's what teams will typically do is instead of keeping the running back in to block nobody, let's just get him out into the pass pattern if there is no blitz that's showing. But that's the half slide. where again, you get half man, half slide. Now, how do you take advantage of this and how will teams take advantage of this? Oftentimes, the center will slide away from the running back, or maybe will slide to the running back and force the running back to go this way. A lot of defensive coaches are very creative about how they attack and learn what the offense is trying to do. So, if you put your defensive coordinator cap on for a second, if I'm sliding always away from the running back, I now can attack the man side over here because I know he's going to do this and I know he's going to do this. So, what a lot of teams will do is knowing where you're going to slide to, they will then run a stunt like this up and through. And now the tackle needs to chase him all the way A gap, which won't happen. And then you can play stunts in games here off the edge and try to confuse the running back and try to confuse that tackle with stunts, twists, things like that. So that's the half slide protection. Very common in the NFL, college, high school, because it's one of the easiest to teach. But again, if you can find out where they're sliding to, it's one of the easiest to manipulate as well. Next, we're going to talk about just straight man protection. This is also called fan protection. I've seen it be called big on big as well. And all you're doing is everybody is essentially taking a man. So we talk about a slide, we talk about man. Well, now this is going to be just straight man concepts across the board. And a lot of teams will run this if they're trying to go into a 5-0 protection and get this running back into the flat. And you just have to have 5 offensive tackles that are blocking. So what you're going to do is, again, everybody is just going to essentially take a man. He's going to fan to the outside. The guard and center are going to kick, and then they're going to distribute the nose here. And the running back is going to scan Sam to Mike. Whoever blitzes, he's going to work into out to block this thing. Into out, and then everyone's just going to fan it and then, again, try to sort it through. Again, where you're hurt are stunts and twists in this situation. A lot of times you'll see this protection at a high school level where maybe you're not going to see a ton of stunts. So everybody can just say, hey, I got him, and they're just going to kick to it and play it. But again, youth and high school is where you really do see this protection. In the NFL, it's very easy to manipulate, so you don't see a ton of it because defensive coordinators are so creative with it. But that's one more that we wanted to add to it. Again, just called the fan protection, where everyone's just going to fan out and play their man. The next type of protection is what's called rollout or sprint out protection. And all it is exactly like it sounds. We're all trying to sprint out to one side, and then the wide receiver combination, you may see this towards the goal line where you see this type of combination, and we're going to try to roll out and secure the edge and try to hit this H receiver on a corner route. So what you'll see is this running back will try to secure the edge with any blitzes. This tackle, again, is trying to reach. Everyone's trying to reach to the outside, protecting their play side gap. We're not going to block the defensive end here, and then the quarterback is just going to sprint and run as fast as he can. If the throw is there, take it. If not, throw it out of bounds. Of course, on 4th down, you can't throw it out of bounds, but that's what this protection is trying to do is how can we take advantage of literally one side of the field and try to run to it. And then hopefully with our route combinations, we can beat these defensive players. But sprint out protection is, again, just a way to get your quarterback not thinking. He's not going through any progression reads. He's literally just reading 2 receivers. Sometimes the offense will bring this guy in motion, he'll run it out, and then you can do funny stuff here and then run him on snag. There's different concepts you can do with this sprint out protection, but this is what a lot of teams will do to try to get their quarterback on the move, try to make reads simpler for him, and then try to get the lineman running to the outside. Next, we're going to talk about play action protection. And there's a lot of names for it, but for the sake of this video, we're going to call it play action protection because there's different ways that coaches can tag this and add it to their run scheme that they're already running. So let's say, for instance, we already run power to the right side. So we could bring our H back in, and the offense knows that, hey, when they're in this set right here, they're going to run power. Let me bring this player off the line. So what we can do now is everybody can step down as if they're blocking power. We can pull this guard up and through, but instead of kicking out the defensive end, now he's going to pass protect on the defensive end, and everything else looks like power. But now what we can do on the back end is we can throw a route combination. So say if we want to run smash here, like that, and then the quarterback's going to ride the running back and then pop back into the pass. So everything looks like we're running power, except now we're faking it and then we're popping back for a pass. So if you get linebackers that like to read guards or they like to be aggressive based off what the backfield action is, well, we can play action this, make everything look alike, except the linemen aren't going to go downfield and we're just going to pop back and throw the football. So teams run a ton of variations of this. I know teams that run a lot of counter will even pull this backside guard tackle up and through and then have the running back here and then block the defensive end, especially if he's slow playing everything and not coming upfield aggressively. There's a ton of different variations that teams will do this on. So you're also seeing a lot of teams nowadays which are running ISO under I formation here. So we'll bring the H as a fullback here. I believe the 49ers did this a few weeks ago, which is straight. It's nasty stuff here, where they're going to bring ISO as if he's going to block the Sam and then run a wheel up the sideline. Everybody else is double teaming. It looks like ISO, but what you're getting is the H up on the wheel here. So that's, I call it play action protection. It's based off the play that they're going to run, but you can make it look like ISO, you can make it look like power, counter, anything, and then just pop back and play the play action pass. So those are the most common offense line protections. If you want to learn even more, check out our Ultimate Football Guide in the description below. If you do have any questions on these, let us know in the comment section below. We're happy to help out. Thanks for watching. Check out this video next to learn even more football, and we'll see you next time.